Larry DiTillo sadly passed away recently, and so in honor of him, we will be looking at Spider's Game, on account of it being pretty much the only episode of his that isn't a multi-parter, story arc necessity, or one that I've already done. So Larry, this one's for you. One of the stasis pods in orbit is falling out of said orbit, and Tarantulas is delighted by this. And not just because the idea of something smashing into the planet at high speed is delightful to a psychopath. No, his reasons, well, we'll get into that later. Tarantulas' efforts create a powerful pulse that knocks out the other two camps. Seems like he's just a Predacon only when that's useful. So anyway, that means... as Scorponok needs to remind us that his dignity is only slightly more intact than Waspinator's. They blame this on a maximal secret attack, unaware that they're currently scratching their heads, wondering what the hell just happened. While both sides scramble to figure it out, Black Arachnia has discovered Tarantulas is up to something. Well, I mean, up to something specific. You can always guess that he's advancing some kind of plot in general, and probably bad news for every side. He says that he's doing research for Megatron, but Arachnia sees right through that crap story.
I'd say you were engaged in stealing a stasis pod, and perhaps reprogramming the helpless maximal protoform inside into a new Predacon. Loyal to you, of course.
Oh dear, you found me out.
That's the no you really haven't voice. So, he's not plotting to create his own spider army, I guess. We'll just have to leave that up to that Starfleet captain. Meanwhile, Tigatron is out on patrol, so he's the first to actually spot the pod coming down before anyone else does. Well, the first intelligent life, anyway. The ants that the pod lands near are probably aware that something happened there, and soon are followed by Tarantulas and Arachnia.
Megatron is powerful, but inferior. I would make a much better leader.
You mean I would? I said what I meant. Tarantulas ignores their feminine wiles since time is critical to reprogram the chip to Predacon. Don't want a repeat of the Air Razor incident now, do we? Terrazor still hasn't lived that one down. Unfortunately, while it's fast enough to make the new bot a Predacon, it's not fast enough to let Tarantulas make another spider like he had wanted. Though I don't really see the problem. So it's going to be insect instead. I mean, what's the big deal?
Tiger body's all alone. Waspinator will destroy.
Honorable members, I withdraw the question. Still, Waspinator manages to get the drop on Tigatron, but is so busy celebrating actually not being on the receiving end that Air gets the drop on him, and it's not helped that she is just laughing at him, and that hurts. Though not as much as having his wings shot off.
But hardly impressed.
It's a real credit to his determination that Waspinator even gets out of bed in the morning. He should just be curled up in the fetal position on his bunk all day, fearing the moment that Megatron tosses him into battle against his will. Anyway, Tigatron tells Air about the pod. Speaking of which, the protoform has finished to transform into a big old ant. However, Inferno, the ant, sees this as attacking spiders and believes that he must defend the colony from them. It's possible that because his form was already chosen but in the process of being applied when Tarantulas removed his chip, that there was no maximal or Predacon influence there, and so too much of the original ant influence was applied instead, causing Inferno to be a bit unhinged.
Incoming!
Hey, same team, same team! Well, Tarantulas needs that pod before something happens, so it's time to get busy.
No!
Not the meaning of the phrase I had in mind. Well, complicating matters is Air who assumes that Inferno is still a maximal.
Another invader comes from the air.
And I suppose technically he could still be. I mean, with him, it's less about size and more doing it for the love of the arson. In her horror at discovering that Inferno has been corrupted, she's completely unprepared for Black Arachnia's attack. Bad news for her, getting shot and falling out of the sky, that means you have to pay Waspinator a royalty. Meanwhile, Tarantulas is making off with the pod.
Ice.
Is there anything about you that isn't disgusting? On top of his other problems, Inferno thinks that the pod is the colony that he needs to defend, so he is miffed when he discovers Tarantulas has made off with it thanks to his grotesque webbing. Megatron soon learns of all this as well, but it seems everyone is misunderstanding the intention. Tarantulas has figured out the planet is screwed and wants to use the pod to escape. That's what he's really been interested in. Whatever happened to the occupant wouldn't really matter to him. It wasn't like he was going to have room for company in the thing or anything. Well, best laid plans of mice and spiders. While Tarantulas ambushes and webs up Inferno, Megatron sends Scorponok to take the pod. Now that wouldn't be so bad, as Scorponok is as thick as Gerard Depardieu's accent, but then Tigertron arrives and just blows up the pod, assuming the Predacons want to steal Maximal secrets. Sorry, Predacons, but Tigertron is too clever for that.
Odd Predacons.
Not too clever for Black Arachnia, though. All in all, even Waspinator is having a better day than Tigertron. Even for a robot, that many bullets can't be good for you. Of course, the most outraged about this is Inferno.
Terrorize!
I like you. Yes.
Who has destroyed the colony? Who?
He is the one.
It's rough when the arch-villain blames things on you, because they really are completely your fault. Tigatron is given a beating normally reserved for a toy leaving the shelves, but he is saved when Optimus Primal and his backup band blow up Inferno. Megatron is incensed by this entire situation and takes it out on everyone around him. No surprise there. Tarantulas and Black Arachnia have the sense to head back to the hidden lab, where Tarantulas finally explains that the planet is doomed and they need to get off of it. Or at least, he needs to get off of it. She can do whatever she likes. At least Tigatron was rescued and can be repaired.
I will return to my post.
There's no hurry. Dinobot, Cheetor, and Rat Trap are out there.
It is my duty.
Yeah, and you stepped in your duty big time. Spider's game is really textbook Season 1, a tiny bit of the overall storyline, but overall just the issue of the day, even if it does introduce a new character. It's overall rather meh, I'm afraid. Nothing particularly interesting, funny, engaging, or character building, beyond introducing a new character who is defined by his deluded thinking, of course. Perhaps it suffers from Inferno's personality already being known to us. Maybe if viewed in proper order, the originality of a lunatic that thinks he's an actual ant would have managed to carry the episode. But as it is, there's just nothing to really write home about here.
All hail the Overlord! All hail the Overlord!
Waspinator hates Birdbot.